I try to lay my palette out this way when I'm in plein air settings and even in the studio, because it helps me think about the way the colors are coming out of the tube and thinking about first and foremost their value. But I like to group them and more specifically put the darkest value of whatever hue that I'm putting down up here at the top, because then I can relate and remember back to my color charts working dark to light. Ultramarine blue goes really, really deep. Well, I didn't even really understand that until I put these two blues right next to each other. And if I take ultramarine blue with cad yellow light,
I'm getting a green like so. Now if I take cobalt blue, mix with cad yellow light, they look pretty dang close.
but there is a difference in the values of just those two together straight out from the tube. If I want to keep my values light and up, I'm not going to dip into that ultramarine blue so much. Now if I want to cool it or make more, it looks like mud. Let's put over here, it's kind of a nice one. And then if I were to add a little bit of white or this warm white to it.
And then you can see how red it's gotten.
But now if I come over here and I say, well, let's make
this more red, and I take alizarin crimson,
it's still not as deep because I haven't gone so far into the ultramarine. I've kept it with the cobalt blue. And it can go cooler, it can go more red. Let's see if I take this red, let that. But it's just a way for me to organize my values a little bit more and pay attention to them, so that way when I'm mixing the paint outside of plein air settings and also in the studio and I'm like, oh, that's really dark, I'm going so dark. Sometimes I have to ask myself, well, is it because I'm using the dark right out of the tube that way? You know, what happens if I use cobalt blue
with yellow ochre? I'm getting a green that's
unsaturated. It's not quite as saturated, right? It's not as powerful as these yellows. And look how nice that one is now. Like, that's a really nice green. And if I need something to be back in shadows, but I don't want it to be super, super dark, maybe it's a combination of these two. If I want something in light that's going to be warmer, I'm certainly going to maybe pull from these a little bit more and warm it up more with yellow, because if I were to just add white to this green over here, adding white to everything cools it. So now I've gotten lighter in value, but it doesn't have the warmth that this one has. So if I'm going to lighten it, I still might need to add yellow to it, or a little bit of orange to keep it warm. So anyways, I hope that's helpful. I hope that's clear as mud.